Something I've been wondering about is how are game developers selecting and setting up test groups to see their players are enjoying the game and it's a good market fit? Are there aspects of this process that could see refining and improving, or common pitfalls other developers tend to see in this process? I left this one for last. Maybe it's a bad last question. I don't have high confidence in my answer to you, so I'm going to try to keep this somewhat brief. There are people that I would go to before me to talk about how you assemble groups of players. People, if you have a community, your community managers might be a place to start with this in an internal structure. If you don't have community managers, you start with devs. You start with your own devs, right? The team? You become playtest group number one, and then you're probably going to have some amount of friends and family that can be set up to run. I mentioned earlier, those aren't totally trustworthy. There's a lot of bias in them. There's a bit of drinking your own Kool-Aid that's going to happen within your own dev team, and there's a bit of a bias towards being positive from a friends and family group. So you have to just take it with a grain of salt. When you start going outside of that and trying to find real players, I know there are third-party groups that do this. Two names of people who have done a lot in the playtesting space before that I would refer you to are Steve Bromley and Graham McAllister. I will put links to their LinkedIns in the show notes so you can find them. Steve Bromley's also written a book, I believe, on user research and user testing. But there are organizations, there's like companies that do this as a sort of external contractors. They will set you up with players for the types of players you're looking for. And I think the best ones will even help you understand who those players should be. So yeah, I don't know exactly, outside of setting up a community fairly early on and then using that community as testers, which I think is a good idea. The problem there is you get not as much, but still some of the bias that the friends and family group experiences, because if they're in your community and they're investing and like spending time talking about the game and they're always looking at your updates about it and all those sorts of things, they're going to be a little bit more positive. Some of them will be a little bit more positive. They'll at least be biased in some way, maybe is how I'd say it. So to get like a truly neutral group of players, I would look to some other people besides myself on how to set that up. And again, if you have them, community managers might be somewhere to talk to, or see if anybody else in your organization has expertise on that. I just have very low it's one of those problems that I never had to personally solve. If I did, I'd probably talk to Steve Brownlee and Graham McAllister if I could read their book. Okay, so are there aspects of this process that could see refining and improving? I guarantee there are. I don't know what they are. Common pitfalls other developers tend to see in this process. Okay, so I will talk about this one. Most common pitfall when setting up test groups to see if players are enjoying the game and if it's a good market fit is not doing it because we don't know how. This happens way too much. We know we think user testing is important. User testing. We want to get a play test. We want to get a prototype out. We want to get in front of players. But we don't actually know how to set that up. So instead we just play test internally, or we do the friends and family thing. We don't actually get in front of real players in a way that's useful. Maybe we run like one, 90-minute session and hope that that's good enough. Not doing it, I think, is the biggest pitfall. The second one after that, and there's some speculation here, but some of this is informed by the conversations I've had with people who do this, is doing it without real intention. Just thinking that if I get a group of people together and throw them in a room and hand them the build, like, oh, cool, you're now playing the game, here it is, blah, blah, blah. I made you sign an NDA, and now play the game. And then like, okay, what's your feedback? And I send you a feedback survey, and I'm like, I did user testing. Not actually really giving any of the process rigor besides getting the people in the room. If those aren't the two biggest pitfalls, like again, Steve Bromley and Graham McAllister would know more, and there's others. I just know them more than I know most. But there's a lot of people that specialize in this. Those are the two that are scariest to me. And again, the reason why is often because I just don't know how to do it, so it gets lost because I've got a million things I need to be doing, and even though I know this is important, since I don't know how to do it, I'm going to do the other things I know how to do. This is a big mistake because you're not dealing with the unknown unknowns. you're going towards what you know and you're solving it. In certain fields, this is called like bike shedding. You're going towards the thing you know when the thing you don't know is actually what's going to kill you. But because you know it, it's more comfortable, it's easier, you feel like you can make progress. Where to go and start to figure out this problem and have to read a book and chase someone down and find out who a good third-party company is to support you in your endeavor, like that all feels like too much work and too much effort and too much, and like I could be getting so much stuff done instead of doing all that. But the problem is the most important thing you need to be doing is getting actual real players in front of the game. So common pitfalls, that's it. Not doing it at all, or not doing it with any rigor and just like checking the box. So avoid those two things. Make sure playtests are happening.